Yeah, live demo. Woo! Who wants a t-shirt? Ladies always get the short end of the swag stick. Ladies size t-shirt? All right, lady in the back. One more? Ladies t-shirt. Oops, sorry. Hey, all right, so with Reverb, we want to solve a problem that I know all y'all have, which is too much content, not enough time. If you've got 10 minutes to refresh Twitter, are you sure you're going to see the one article that you need to see that day? If you've got 5 minutes for Facebook, are you going to see the article shared by a friend of yours that you really care about? Or are you going to see some wackaloon political stuff that you just want to skim right over? And if you've got time to look at a real media outlet, are you going to dig your way through the sports section to find the articles on pro surfing, which is all you really care about? Probably not. And now our CEO and spokesmodel, Tony Tam, will perform the demo.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to launch Reverb. And one of the principles that we have at this company is that if computers are so goddamn smart, they shouldn't ask you a whole bunch of questions to use apps. So what I just did is I launched Reverb, which is a discovery app. And discovery meaning I get to find the stuff I'm interested in. The thing I first see is something we call a word wall, which shows us different ideas. And instead of asking me what I'm interested in, I just tap and read. So in here, I tapped on business and economy, because I'm a business person, right? Run a company. So in here now, I see articles. I found things that are talking about this topic of business and economy. I can scroll through here. I can look at articles. I can get a sense of what we're talking about directly without reading anything. I can then tap on any of these and see all kinds of stuff that's happening, like I did not know. Someone favorited something. Facebook buys WhatsApp for $19 billion, right? So now we're in this clean reader. I can look at content without actually having to sift through and find out how to find it over the web. And the discovery aspect of what we do, at the end, we don't show things that are just tangentially related based on popularity. We've extracted the ideas that are in the article. So in here, Mark Zuckerberg, we're talking about Snapchat. I can continue reading and exploring and finding more things that are of interest to me. Let me come back to this word wall. And the first thing that you see now is that, like I said, computers should be smart, right? It's gone and updated itself with things relevant to what I looked at. So Mark Zuckerberg, mergers and acquisitions. And the more I read, this gets smarter, right? Now, as Erin said, people don't fit necessarily in one little cookie cutter spot. It shouldn't just be business and economy. It shouldn't just be WhatsApp, even though we're in San Francisco. If I look at something like, if I'm interested in surfing, right? Actually, forget surfing. I'm interested in big wave surfing. A Reverb has gone and scoured the web and found the most relevant things about big wave surfing and put them in a readable format based on what is in the article, not just what's mentioned in it. So there might not be any mention of big wave surfing, but we've extracted that this is something about catching the biggest wave ever. So I can explore content like this, and again, as I keep reading, this gets smarter, my word wall updates, and the content follows me. Right. Switching over to another view on content, so that's a long tail view. A global view would be things that are trending, news, right? Things that are important in the world where you don't want to basically look at a subset of it. So what's happening in Syria? I don't know what's happening in Syria, but it looks like buildings are getting blown up, right? So there's things that are happening in the world that you just need to know no matter what. You shouldn't be filtered away from that sort of thing. Right? And lastly, I'm going to show something that's really important. I'm going to look at my social feed. So I'm going to connect with Twitter. And what it's going to do is then show me all the articles that are coming through my feed in this clean format. Again, I can read any of them very easily. And what's super powerful is, like Erin was saying, in Twitter, if I don't refresh or I don't pull to refresh in any amount of time, I'm going to miss something. But what Reverb has gone and done is aggregated all the articles from my feed based on the articles, based on the idea. So if I don't care about people tweeting about weird things, I can read just about really exciting things like enterprise software, right? Saving the dry, lifeless soul of enterprise software. Okay. So what we say is that you are what you read, and you shouldn't be confined to a little box. And just to show you how interesting some things can be, if I look up grumpy cat, right? There we go. Pictures of cats are more popular than selfies, and here's why. So what Reverb is doing is it's not putting you in the filter bubble. It's not confining you to ideas. It's letting you go and read. It's helping the content follow you. I don't need to go search. I don't need to go scour the web. We're going to find the best stuff and present it in the fastest and easiest way possible to read. Thank you very much. That's 5 minutes. Questions? Whoop.
Thank you, guys. Okay. I have a question off the bat.
Yeah.
So I like your UI, but it almost seems like it's for like folks with ADD. In that, I don't know what I'm going to click. I'm going to click the big one now, or I'm going to click this one. It's like, there's no apparent systematic approach on how you're consuming your news, but whatever maybe jumps out at you that you're going to click.
Yeah.
I click on shit all day long like that. So, but this is good for me. But is that like everybody?
Think of it like this. What you read goes up to the left. As I stop looking at things, it drifts away to the right. If I don't care about chemical transformation, I can get rid of it. So what we don't want to do is make you work. We don't want you to have to work hard to say, this is what I want to read. This is the stuff I'm interested in. We want you to be able to read. And if you stop looking at it, it'll just drift away. So people can look at content different ways. You can look at it from words, and this exposes the ideas and the relationships between them. You can also look at it from the tiles, and we see people roughly, they have a preference. You can look at it this way too. And it's a little less of that words going everywhere ADD thing that Miles is worried about.
So, question over here. Over here on.
Got you.
In the absence of Google Reader, I think pretty universally across all my friends, there isn't really a good substitute other than, Feedly's what I hear about the most. So it's kind of akin to what he was asking.
Yep.
If a person or consumer wants more control, what are your thoughts about that? Do you feel like there's a gap in the absence of Google Reader having died?
Yeah, I think Google Reader growing away is really interesting, and it kind of signifies what we're going after, which is saying that channels are just very hard for content. Right? New York Times is not your source of all information now. Like you might get some things in New York Times, you might get sports stuff in Sports Illustrated, right? It's not just about models and swimsuits. So I think that the idea is that control should be based on interest and should be based on relevance. And if you don't understand content, you can't do either of those. So I don't think that a social network necessarily should be the only way of organizing content. It should be based on machines being smart and understanding based on what you read and what you're interested in and what you signal to it, what it should surface. So Erin has a fantastic blog about dresses, and she talks about robots sometimes. If I probably wouldn't subscribe to it. It's about dresses, but I can get the parts about robots that I'm interested in. Right? So I think that the world should be about ideas and content rather than channels.
It's very slick. As you learn more about the individual, I mean, how are you going to monetize this? What's your plans?
Monetize. Yeah. That took longer than I thought. This is Silicon Valley. What do we have to monetize, right?
Yeah,
no,
fuck it.
So speaking of monetization, so we actually, one of the things that Reverb has created is this very nifty thing called Swagger, which is an API framework which connects servers, also connects clients like this iOS app. Now everyone knows my password. But the interesting thing is that this is powerful stuff, right? It's not just about content that comes in through readers. It could be about a vertical. It could be about products. It could be about other things. So I don't want there to be ads in here. I want enterprises, I want other companies to connect and use this kind of software in their own silos, in their own corporate of content, to take advantage of this power as well. I want readers should enjoy this, right? And that's valuable. And maybe we'll be like Ghostbusters and monetize happiness, right?
Are you talking about
Yeah, so we will connect companies with their own content to this engine, which could be separate from the content that you see in the app.
Okay.
Make sense? Yeah. The real answer is this is Silicon Valley. We don't have to worry about making money, but
Okay.
fair enough.
Okay.
It's called Reverb. It's only on iOS and only on iPad right now.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. So I saw a demo earlier during the cocktail hour. I'm right here in the middle.
Number 6 on free news right now, so you can find it
Yeah.
easily that way.
So he stole my question about the business model. That was first question, but kind of answered that. Maybe you could elaborate on how the licensing would work and who would use it and how that would scale for you. The second is, are you planning to release this on iPhone and desktop and Android and everything else as well?
It's an Apple world, so we will have a phone version, of course, right? The way that we plan on, so the first question was about the licensing, the APIs, and that sort of thing. And we've talked to a bunch of different people about how this can work for embedded apps, how it can work for internal, like an SDK, so recommended content. Personalization as a service, that's something we do extremely well, and that's what this whole word wall is showing, is a glimpse into what personalization looks like. So we could personalize almost any type of content as long as it has digital text in it. We do very well with metadata. This is unstructured text that's found on the web, but we work very well with metadata as well. We don't do really well with food and recipes and that sort of thing too. I know there was a second question. I'm not trying to ignore it, but I forgot what it was. Yes, that's right. So yeah, we will be making it smaller. But again, a good iPhone app isn't just a smaller version of an iPad app, so it's taking considerable time for us to make sure that it works the right way. Desktops. So there actually is a partial web version of this right now. So if you share content from here, any of this content can be shared out. It will open in a web view, which our courageous hackers out there can probably build a whole version of this by using the APIs in there. But there will be a web endpoint as well. Other questions? I know I've run out of time, but I'm happy to give it more demos in the back and answer any other things that might come up. Thank you.
Right on. Tony, thank you.